Peter King saying what he's saying about the Browns, I hope the Browns make the Super Bowl. If the man was guilty and he's guilty completely, he'd be out of the league.
You know what?
Hey, we all know the Browns are in better shape than the Lions. They are. They're ready to win. We're not ready to win yet. They are ready to win.
I don't know about that, though, man. It's like, it's easy to say that, and I see where you're coming from. They did win a playoff game. They still do have that offense kind of intact. You know, you're bringing Amari Cooper, the 2 running backs.
And Myles Garrett.
They redid his deal, by the way. They gave him his money up front. They gave Cooper his money up front.
They got a lot of skill on that team. They got a lot of players over there.
Look at that team.
They got a lot of players over there. Offensively,
it's one of those things where you start talking, and as you talk, you're like,
I mean, look,
let me shut up.
Show me a better.
There isn't.
That rivals the Chiefs. I think
it does.
I mean, Cleveland is way better at running back than Kansas City is.
That's better than the Chiefs.
But
besides tight end.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean
that's a hell of a team. That's why. Remember last week I brought it up and we fought because you've been in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I said, why wouldn't you want to go play for that team? And you know what? He did. They paid him the money,
and that's
guaranteed.
That's really the caveat over all of this. Like, speaking of this Deshaun Watson thing, and like $230 million guaranteed is something unlike we have never seen anything like this in the history of the NFL before. Right? I mean, they're essentially paying him $2.7 million.
And the way they structured it.
Right.
In case he gets fined, you see how the structure is? He only makes $1 million or something in the first.
Yeah, the first year. In case he gets suspended.
Yeah.
His base salary is $1 to $2 million this year. Yeah. So if he has to sit out any games, it comes out of that base salary. Then it kicks in year 2.
That's the deal.
So, why Cleveland? So many people thought he ruled Cleveland out. It was between Atlanta and New Orleans. And Cleveland came in and said, no, we'll give you this. This was about money for Deshaun Watson. Yeah. And everything's about money, so it's not that.
And a chance to win.
It's a damn good team.
I agree with Maz on that. And a chance to win because remember when we were talking Thursday, one of the big things I was talking about the teams that were up in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, a lot of them didn't have that offensive weapon or they didn't have that core of weapons on offense that he could just jump into a system and play fit. The Cleveland Browns were the only ones, and then they got Amari Cooper. Now you add that. They were the only team that had an offense in the play that you can just plug and play. Plug Deshaun Watson, it's time to play.
Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. We certainly appreciate it. If you could, please hit that like button, smash that like button for us, and subscribe to Woodward Sports. We are approaching 22,000 subscribers now. We're growing over here at Woodward Sports. I want to stick with this Deshaun Watson conversation for a little bit, guys, because
the Lions are involved in this. I'll tell you why. They're number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 quarterback-starved teams are picking at 6 and 8. Malik Willis is the favorite to be landed at number 2. Remember last week we said
right.
Plus 380 on the Vegas board. The Lions, they're not picking at 2.
I knew. Hey.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they are or they aren't.
They're not.
But the Deshaun Watson thing is very intriguing. Peter King wrote something very interesting today on Monday Morning Quarterback that I'd like to address with you guys as well. Just a way to look at this whole situation and other situations like it, because we have seen it before. So Peter King, Monday Morning, long-time NFL writer, Peter King wrote this morning on Monday Morning Quarterback that he is not going to write about what Watson does on the field. Instead, he's going to write about the Browns selling their souls for a player with 22 open accusations of sexual assault. Now, this was always going to be an issue for any organization that acquired Deshaun Watson. We have seen time and time again that a player, regardless of background, regardless of what they do, if they have talent, these things kind of just fizzle out. And again, please, I'm trying not to offend anybody, but this is just the way it is. It is probably wrong.
Yeah.
And I say probably because I don't know what happened. I'm not, right. So, But this is, I don't know what happened with Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know what happened with Kobe Bryant. I don't know what happened with Deshaun Watson.
You know why? Because it's none of our business.
All I can
I agree with
judge
that,
is the player, is he available to play or not? And Deshaun Watson is available to play, at least right now. Look, and you could talk about Braylon, that Calvin Ridley put $1,500
It's a joke.
on the Atlanta Falcons when he wasn't with the team to win a football game, and he gets suspended for the year. Deshaun Watson has 22 open investigations of sexual assault into him, and he hasn't been suspended even one game yet.
Yeah, two things about it, man. One, the NFL only cares about their bottom line. If you affect their bottom line, like with the situation with Colin Kaepernick, they got involved. The reason he affected their bottom line with him kneeling. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of NFL supporters, a lot of vet supporters, a lot of war hero supporters, they didn't like it. It became a public thing, and the attendance went down after that was going on. That affected their bottom line, so they came together and they got Colin Kaepernick out the league. With this situation, like what Colin Kaepernick is going through with these civil suits with women, sexual indecency, if you will, that affects him. That doesn't affect the NFL's bottom line. It affects him. So I think they allow the court cases to handle it. Court is criminal. He won. Like in criminal court, he won. He didn't. So
that's a way to look at it for sure. He's not being criminally charged.
He's not being criminally charged. So the NFL is like, shoot, now we're good. So we'll suspend him his 6 games, his 8 games, whatever, and let the civil cases play themselves out. Is it wrong? Is it right? Now, that's the argument. That's the back and forth. That's the one where people that support the 22 women, they're in support of that. They think it's wrong. The people that are in support of Colin had his day in court, and he won. They're on his side. So it's tough. You know, it's life. It's not black and white. It's gray. The way I look at it is this. Look, he should be allowed to play until they render a suspension. And that's what the NFL, that's where the NFL has dropped the ball. Let's take a step back. That's where the NFL, I think, has dropped the ball. They could have came up with the suspensions and whatever before the cases were over.
I think they had to wait, Brad.
But even with that, though, the criminal case, they can say, hey, if he's criminally fined, then he can't play in the league for this long or that long. Kind of throw something out there. And then if he wins court, if he wins criminal, doesn't matter. We're suspending him 8. Let's rock and roll and move forward. Now we're like waiting. Now we're trying to play the waiting game. Is he going to get suspended? How many games is he going to get suspended? Is that just due? NFL could have stepped in a while ago and came up with something, so we already had a baseline, so now we can argue that baseline versus arguing an unknown.
Here's the guy. You brought up Peter King. Let's go back to when Washington was named the Redskins. I remember Phil Simms said, well, I'll never call them the Redskins anymore. They're just going to be Washington to me. He was the first guy, I think, that came out and said, then everyone started jumping on board. All right, we're not going to call them the Skins anymore. This is before they were called the football team. And I was like, this is the NFL. We're just talking. It's just sports, man. They were the Redskins for all these years, and then a couple of people that don't watch football didn't want them to be the Redskins. Okay, that's a done deal. They're now the Washington Commanders. Peter King saying what he's saying about the Browns. I hope the Browns make the Super Bowl because I think he's a bag of wind, if you ask me. Don't tell me you're not going to talk about the Cleveland Browns playing football. You just.
Like, isn't he a football writer?
Right. Yeah, what are you standing on?
Sports Illustrated.
What are you standing on? If the man was guilty and he's guilty completely, he'd be out of the league.
Yeah.
If 22 cases were absolutely real against him, and I don't know if they are, it's none of my business. Right. All right? I wasn't there on the massage tables. I wasn't there when he was looking on Instagram and getting these massage therapists. That's none of my business. I'm a football fan. I'm speaking strictly as a football fan. If he's allowed to play in the NFL, you damn well you got to write about him and write about what he's doing. And if you don't want to, I just won't read you. I don't care. Don't be a bag of wind and stand on just so people can pat you on the back. I think it's bull, and I was a Peter King fan. But you know what? Do what you want.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
I, too, am no Peter King fan at all, Maz, because, again, he seems to me like this guy that is on this perch looking down upon all these peasants who just are down here. We are all beneath Peter King.
Yeah, God.
And he gets to stand on this holier-than-thou attitude and rain his wisdom down upon us.
Thank you, Peter.
I agree with you. Here's an interesting thing. Where was this energy with Kareem Hunt?
I don't know.
What was his energy when the Cleveland Browns picked up Kareem Hunt after he allegedly kicked his girlfriend?
Oh my God! You could go down the line, Brad.
Where was that energy at?
Yeah. You could go down. You pick any sport.
No,
there's always a bad guy in every sport.
There's a ton of bad guys, man. At the end of the day, I just think going to through the whole of the situation in a fast snapshot is this. He had his day in criminal court. Nothing happened. He was absolved in criminal court. That's the end of it. Now you talk about the 22 cases and the numbers. I still think the timing of how everything happened was just so ironic. It's so ironic that as soon as Deshaun Watson, you know what? I don't like it here in Houston. I see what they're doing. They don't respect their players. Now I got to listen to DeAndre Hopkins' advice. Now I got to listen to what Andre Johnson told me 2 years ago. You know what? I think it's best if, we part ways. 3 days later, all of a sudden, now he's got 22 women coming out, where it was like 8 initially, and then it kept going up. It's just very interesting.
Remember when him and J.J. Watt walked out? We saw that picture at the end of that year. They both had the best season of their lives. And J.J. Watt was leaving, and you just knew Deshaun Watson was going to leave right with him. And if those cases didn't pop up, like you said, he would have been out the door almost the same freaking day.